everything else. So this thing went from $900,000 to $1.2 million.
We paid fair market value.
Yeah, fair market, I think, would have been what they appraised it at.
But getting the short end of the stick in every deal that we have to do, that's not fair.
Welcome back to another Shark Show. So today we got some more information actually on the purchasing statement for the $900,000+ 10-acre wastewater treatment plant.
$90,000 an acre.
That's pretty high, isn't it?
Yeah. Some lakefront property there?
Well, 377 property kind of Old Granbury Road,
Yeah.
but it doesn't stop at 900,000.
No.
It goes up to $1 million, $1.1 million, $1.2 million, and who knows? We're getting some more paperwork. We're looking into this deeper because haven't heard a peep from Councilman Corrigan or Councilman Rodriguez, right?
No.
Crickets.
Yeah, crickets. So let's go over some of this purchasing statement that was done on June 3rd, 2019. And if you look back at our old video, you can look at the dates and when they had the actual city council on June 4th, correct?
Right.
Of 2019. So let's look at the purchasing statement. Once again, June 3rd, 2019, and it's New Era Granbury Holdings, LLC, and City of Granbury, Texas. So we have a total of $919,062.05 for the purchase of this 10 acres approximately for the wastewater treatment plant. And it's signed, of course, by Chris Kaufman, the city manager, who's, I guess, an agent to go ahead and do this. If we go back to the last one, we all know that all this was in preparation way before the city voted on it, correct?
Correct.
Now, moving into the purchasing statement, and we know this has been completed and was done because we sent in some open records requests, and Nate got some information for us. And on June 3rd, not June 4th, because that's when they had the city council meeting of 19, there was a check written to Town Square Title for $894,000 and some odd cents, which was for this commercial contract. Mm-hmm. And then the check cleared on June 4th. Imagine that, right?
Yeah.
So once again, all this was in progress.
Correct.
What if they would have voted no?
Well, I don't think they would have because it was all for show. I mean, they knew what they were doing before they got in there, right?
Clearly, yeah.
Surely that would be a violation of Open Meetings Act if they all talked about it and knew ahead of time, right?
Yeah.
Oops.
Unless Chris Kaufman was maybe acting unilaterally without the approval of the council, and that could be a possibility too.
Yeah, nobody raised a question. I think as we dig in deeper for this contract from New Era Granbury LLC in the city of Granbury, on page 1, it lists this 10 acres as being part of the J.A. McCreary Survey, abstract number 386. So we're looking at approximately 10 acres, right?
Yeah, that's about 10 acres, and this is located at 3121 Old Granbury Road. Now, you've heard us talk a lot about Chris Kaufman in the past before, our city manager. Everyone knows he's really good at his job, right? He's been run out of every city manager position he's had. And this 10 acres was appraised at $235,000 in 2019, but Chris Kaufman, being the excellent city manager that he is...
235.
Yes, $235,000 in 2019.
Okay.
Yeah, Chris Kaufman, being the excellent businessman he is, with all this acumen being a city manager, managed to pay only a 350% markup for the taxpayers.
Wow, job well done.
Yeah.
Way to go, taxpayers. Take some more, right? Yeah. So if you're an individual and it's your own money, would you pay that much money?
No way.
No way in heck.
All right. Looking at this property and the price that Chris Kaufman paid and the city council okayed, just carte blanche, right? What are the comps? Are there comps to this, Nate?
Yeah, a realtor buddy of mine sent me a list of about 15 comps or so, and the comps aren't $90,000 an acre, they're $10,000 an acre.
Yeah, and then when you have a broker, your agent is supposed to look out for you. I mean, they always have whenever I've purchased a land or a home. They always run the comps for you and advise you, yes, this is a good deal, or no, this is overpriced. We should be paying more along this these lines. So I wonder, what was the agent's job in this purchase? Were they not looking out for the taxpayers or for the city on the purchase price of this land? Did they not advise them? And what made them think that this was a good deal?
Well, this could have been part of we talked about that post-closing agreement and how that wraps in the 50-acre development and this 10-acre tract of land. If all this stuff is tied together and there's some backroom dealings and shady stuff going on, I mean, that's how you would funnel that money around to different places.
And there's a big difference in the comps. There's no question about it. 90,000 an acre compared to 10. Now it is between Old Granbury and 377. So even if you bump it up to 20,000 an acre, it's not 90,000 an acre, right?
Right.
So there's something going on. I think the taxpayers once again are paying way more than they should have. Kind of brings me back, if you've been around Granbury long enough, to the $1 million parking lot downtown, right?
Everybody remembers that.
Yeah, so here we go again.
Yeah, there's a pattern of these land purchases where the taxpayers are getting overcharged, and it's always the buddies and people in that same social circle that are standing to benefit.
So, we're talking about comps, and we're talking about fair market value, and we're talking about the citizens getting a good deal for what they pay.
Yeah.
And I'm not against people making money at all. I mean, realtors have to work. I understand that. That's the way it should be.
Mm-hmm.
We live in a capitalistic society. Well, they're trying to make it more of a socialist. But, so I'm all for that, but it should be fair. I mean, it should be fair for the taxpayer since we're paying it. If it was your personal money and you wanted to spend that, have at it. But it's not your money. It's the taxpayer money. So where do we get this fair market value from, Nate?
It's funny, I was at a city council meeting a while back, and I came in and I sat down at the back, as I usually do, minding my own business, and Councilman Tony Mobley approaches me, and we had a little exchange, and in that, well, Mike, you want to show the clip?
Nathan, you get better video up front.
Yeah, probably. Y'all do a pretty good job with the stream, so we'll probably just pull that off. You doing okay?
I think so.
Good.
It's doing what we do.
Yeah.
It's always a party.
Yeah, I hear that. Hey, with this new era Granbury stuff, you mind if I ask a couple
New
questions?
era? What?
New era Granbury?
What about it?
The people that y'all bought the wastewater treatment facility from, rather. How much did y'all get for that? Do you remember?
I don't remember.
Yeah. Okay.
What?
Just wondering.
I mean, we pay fair market value.
Fair market value? Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. Just wondering. Thanks.
So you were talking to Councilman Mobley, and, first it was kind of funny that, new era, what's new era? Well, hello, you're there to talk about it, and everybody should know about it because you're supposed to do your homework, right?
Right.
It's supposed to.
Right. So he went from new era, what's that, to, oh yeah, that's fair market.
Yeah, fair market value for who?
Yes.
Yeah, fair market, I think, would have been what they appraised it at, $235,000.
And even if you say, okay, let's say it's $235,000 and, they're looking at a good price for it and whoever's selling it wanted to make a good price. What if it's $400,000? And they make a little bit more. But that's not $900,000.
Right.
It's not another $300,000.
Yeah.
Because it's just going to go up from there.
Yeah. Yeah, it is, and it did, and it probably will continue to do so. And it's sad that Tony Mobley, he thinks that this is fair market value. And guys, if you live in the city of Granbury, Tony Mobley is up for re-election in November of 2021.
You kind of bring that up, and that's part of what Blue Shark is doing, is shining light on elected officials and public officials and people that are like Chris Kaufman that are appointed by the city council. And it's time that they pay attention to what the taxpayers really want.
Right.
And to say, hey, we're done with all these supposed backroom deals and we're done with all this stuff. Just do what's right for the citizens at the value that the citizens say, hey, that's normal, we can do that. Mm-hmm. But a 350% increase and then tacking on hundreds of thousands of dollars, that's wrong.
Right. Yeah, I don't think the citizens would be opposed to purchasing land that we need to build a wastewater treatment plant. If that's what we need to do, that's what we need to do. But getting the short end of the stick in every deal that we have to do, that's not fair.
It's poor leadership. And, Tony Mobley, he's been on the council for, 2 terms, so almost 6 years now. He's had a hand in a lot of this, and I think it's time for him to go.
And as we look further into this, you go through, who the broker was, Winston Properties. The agent was Lee Overstreet, who received 2%. And, I don't know if Lee Overstreet is the city agent here in Granbury for all their properties. We're looking into right now, actually, the Granbury PD property and some other properties. The hospital appraisal district is supposedly getting a new building. We'll be looking into that. So the Fort Warren Hospital Appraisal District, we're looking into what you're doing. So we'll have to see who the actual agent is on all of these. What we'd like to do is talk about the truth and accountability and shine some light on this to see where it goes and our money and who's involved. If it's the same people over and over and over again, then we have a problem with the good old boy network.
Yeah.
Right.
So if you look at the special provisions that were added in this contract, the number one, it talks about purchase agrees that they will work with the seller to facilitate, implement the tax increment reinvestment zone, which is a TERS. So all that has to be voted on by the city council. But what Chris Kaufman signed off on was saying, yeah, sure, we'll help you out with all this.
Right.
Well, it's not up to Chris Kaufman. It's up to the city council to vote on whether they're going to give certain tax abatements and certain tax credits to people moving in.
Right. And have they voted on that yet?
No, they haven't.
Yeah.
So this was all done prior to handshake, pat on the back. Hey, we'll help you out. You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours type good old boy. Here we go again. And who takes it in the end, right?
Right.
The citizen.
The taxpayers,
Yeah.
yeah.
350% increase and counting, because you have to add number 3 on here. $300,000. We talked about that earlier for this track, for pipe and things like that and fencing. Well, it wasn't just for that. It was for a traffic signal going in off of 377 in a new road, Bellcross Lane, I guess. Mm-hmm. And that's towards the traffic signal. So that's not for the piping and the fencing and everything else. So this thing went from $900,000 to $1.2 million to now it's going to go even further.
Right. Yeah, because they still have to do the piping and the fencing and all that other.
The capital improvements.
Yeah. Yeah.
And through the last video, they have New Era of Granbury has sovereign immunity.
Right.
They took away that clause from the city, so they can sue at any point for this whole contract.
Right, which means we have to uphold this end of the deal.
Right. So we're speaking about this contract, but not only did they do all this prior to the June 4th meeting on saying yes, go ahead and do all this, they backdid it and then just said, oh, here it is, we're all done. But they also did an appraisal in
2018, December 12, 2018. They did an appraisal review for the wastewater treatment plant project for that specific tract of land, that 10 acres that's in this purchase.
So that's just another, nail in the coffin of, hey, we're doing all this stuff prior to, and we sure better get the vote on this, because if they didn't get the vote on this, there's a lot of money hanging in the balance that's already been spent.
Right, yeah, and we're on the hook for it too.
Right. So now that we've gone through the purchasing statement and some of the extra things on the end about the $300,000 and everything else, this is going to continue to grow. We're going to keep an eye on this to see how this explodes as far as wastewater money going from the citizens into this. And I hope it's not going to be a debacle. But we're already spending a lot of money for this. Mm-hmm. The deeper we dig, the more kind of backroom type, good old boy deals we're starting to find. And there has to be a change. Yeah. And if the city council aren't going to police themselves, and it's time the citizens do, and it's time maybe people step up to run to say, we've had enough of this. Whether it's city council or whether it's county commissioner's court, or any other elected position locally or statewide, it's time for conservatives to step up and say enough is enough. We're going to do this right. So for today, Shark Show out.